Country 1330 WTRE. It's 7:32, and it's time for Mic'd Up with Mayor Marsh. Good morning.
Good morning, Emily, and happy Thursday, everyone, in WTRE country.
Yes, the sun is shining.
It's beautiful. It's bright.
No rain right now.
That's right.
Finally.
We do have a little bit of weather risk this evening, but kind of looks like it'll mostly be north of Indianapolis. So hopefully we'll miss all that, and everybody can enjoy their Thursday evening.
That's right. I think tomorrow looks a little yucky, too. So
Right. It's springtime.
It's springtime, and it just keeps coming. So
That's right.
on our way to summer break, though. Well, not us, but
Well,
the
right.
children.
The school.
The school.
Right. Everybody that gets all frustrated with the traffic on Lincoln Street, next Friday, that will vanish.
It'll be over.
Yeah.
Magical.
And then it'll be back in August. Just goes away.
It's just magical. Let's talk about traffic and streets real quick. I was with Mom last week, and we're driving down Broadway. That intersection was open.
It's open.
You made her whole day.
Well, that's fantastic. Glad to hear that.
Yes, it was great.
Friday evening, I think, is when it was opened up. So it was open for the weekend. I know it's a little bit dusty and dirty. It's just part of the construction mess, mind the mess kind of thing. And they are making their way east. I was down there this morning grabbing a coffee at the branch, and the work being done is progressing, which is great. There was an update Zach provided to the Board of Works and City Council this week about probably mid-June is when they will sort of flip over to the other half of Washington Street over on the Franklin Street side. So we're going to be in this phase here for just a little while and then continue on.
Speaking of Zach, received an award this week.
He did. So on Tuesday, we're very proud of him and many congratulations to him. He was recognized at the statewide MS4, which is Stormwater Partnership. They have their annual meeting, and that was in Plainfield. So he was recognized as their municipal member, a Visionary of the Year award for his effort in advancing our stormwater. And also, it's hard to believe he's only been with us for about 14, 15 months now. So he's really gone from zero to being someone that is looked at and understanding and looking at what our stormwater requirements are, working with our state and federal partners and our local teams. So we're very proud of him and the work that he's doing in tandem with all of our folks that work on MS4 to better themselves and to better our community through that program. So kind of a big deal, especially for somebody who's brand new to the field to be awarded that. So we've got some great partners who he works with, and they reached out to me about the nomination, and we were able to, I was able to nominate him, and they were very instrumental in helping the committee see the value that he brings. So we tried to surprise him with it. I tried to get him to the lunch without him knowing why we were going to the lunch, and he just wasn't that interested in going to lunch. So
He just didn't buy it.
He was like, yeah, I don't know that, blah blah, and I was like, I think we really need to go. And he was like, well, okay, but no. And I was like, well, look, you won this award.
You are going.
We have to go. And so he was very surprised, and I'm very excited. So it was a great opportunity to introduce him to a lot of those folks from across the state that work in that space as well.
Very good. Had your first community outing last Thursday?
Yep, the weather worked out really well for us.
You got very lucky.
We did get very lucky. I think some parts of the county up north, there were flood advisories happening, but right over in Fairview Edition, the sun was shining. It was perfect temperature. We had a fantastic turnout. We kind of guessed when we set up tables and chairs, and we had to go get another set of tables and chairs out. We just had so many folks coming through, which was great. GFD made breakfast. When we were talking last week, I didn't remember what it was. So breakfast, so they did biscuits and gravy.
Have they done that before?
They have not. They like to change it up, right?
I love that.
That keeps it fun.
Fresh. Yeah.
And it's not just always hamburgers and hot dogs. We still rotate those in because they're American favorites, right?
Yes.
But now we had biscuits and gravy and eggs and bacon, and they did some fruit options too. So it was really, really well received. I'm not a big breakfast fan anyway, but everybody seemed to really like it, and it was a really, really great event. First one of the year, so our next one's in June, and there's information about that on all of our social media platforms. It will be up sort of east of the new fire station between Broadway and Lincoln, so keep an eye out for that. But should be a lot of fun, and that makes our summer series underway.
Very good. Also, last week before that event, there was the safety meeting regarding State Road 3. Were you at any of that?
We had the open house for the Decatur County section, if you will, but there's two pieces to this. One, the information, the survey that you can take, you can look at all the information, has been posted to our social media platforms as well. You can go and take a look at that. The survey is open to anyone and everyone. You don't have to live in the city or the county or wherever. It is also much larger than State Road 3. There was a lot of discussion about that too. This project started with the analysis of State Road 3, but now has grown into like kind of major arterial roads in the county and in the city. So if you have a safety concern as it relates to traffic flow, traffic pattern, pedestrians, etc., you can go onto that survey. You can complete it. It's available for Decatur, Rush, and Henry County. So if you drive up to Newcastle or to Rushville and you want to comment on some items up through there, there's lots of data surrounding, the unfortunate fatalities, etc., that happen on 3. So that information is already well accounted for, well documented. But if there's something that you see on a either hyper local level or something that you feel like maybe only you would see or that you want to express support for, you can go on and do that. It's free of charge, of course, but a really great opportunity to sort of talk about it. One thing that is we want to continue to stress, and that is very important just for expectations, is that this is not a construction-based plan. It does not result in construction. It does not result in really too many recommendations in the physical world. It is a very odd style grant in that it is federal money directly received by the city of Rushville, who then partnered with Greensburg, Decatur County, Rush County, Henry County, and Newcastle to work on this analysis, this safety action plan. It drives ideas towards what are some very low-hanging safety fruit, all the way up to major infrastructure improvements, but it's not a construction document. So just for expectation purposes, we need to be sure everyone's aware of that.
Is there a next step after these meetings, or are we unsure yet what that looks like?
The sort of end result is that they've done on the ground, they've sort of done like a driving tour where they stop and photograph and look at the, layouts of those troubled intersections. They're going to look at the survey results of what people are talking about. They have a committee. So like, Fire Chief Sturmer is our representative to sort of the public safety committee. So like the schools have a representative, public safety, the communities, etc. So there's a lot of people that are working on different aspects of this. It then results in this safety action plan, which for lack of better terms is a gigantic binder of information that then can sort of be presented, for lack of better terms, to NDOT, or in the cases as it relates to county or city streets, to say, these are areas that we've identified concerns. There may be a solution or two, but then that's the end of this phase, if you will. The reason that this is important is State Road 3 is an NDOT corridor, but NDOT is not the grant recipient in this situation, and NDOT is not the grant distributor. So they are at the table, but they're in theory no different than the city of Greensburg. They're just a partner, right? We don't own the road. They own the road, but it's not their grant. And it's not their grant that they control because it's direct federal money. That's what makes it odd. So the idea is that NDOT can then take this binder and go to NDOT and say, dear us, here's some safety things on our road that we didn't even have to pay for to find out that maybe we could implement. And we can work with them and say, hey, why don't we look at these 3 things? Would you be interested in helping do that? So that's the advantage. And then the kind of the big pie in the sky dream thing is this is part of Safe Streets for All, and there's a lot of questions about federal funding right now and the availability of federal funding. So there is a Safe Streets for All infrastructure funding grant as well, where you can actually build in the physical world. That's how we're doing our traffic light improvements, preemption devices, pedestrian safety relining project that we were awarded $1 million for. That's in the physical world. Now, Safe Streets for All federal grant funding is in limbo, so we'll see if they actually do refund that again. But as of this point in time, this project ends at the completion of the binder.
All right, very good. Board of Works and City Council met this week.
We did. So Board of Works was first. Lots of stuff kind of going on there. That was the big meeting. One of the projects is we did award a contract to Dave O'Meara Contracting for $1.675 million for some pavement work happening across the community for 2025-01. That's CCMG Community Crossings Matching Grant. We talk about this quite often, and that's a positive for us. That's more pavement going down in the community. That's a 50-50 match. So we have to have 50% of that total amount, and then we receive 50% from the gas tax fund. That comes back to us, but it is a competitive grant process. So we are planning to get that back. We will get that work completed in 2025. There's typically 2 calls for CCMG, so you've heard me talk about that before. It's the year 01-02. The restructuring of the state's budget and the change in the administration has put 02 on pause, and typically that comes in July, and they've told us to not plan on it to be in July.
Okay.
Best case scenario would be late fall. Maybe worst case scenario is there isn't
Not
a second call. So we will see what that looks like. Most communities, including ours, Decatur County, and everyone in the WTRE listing area, cannot do paving projects at this rate or at this point without the CCMG component. It's the city pays 50-50. And the county actually gets a better deal. It's 80-20, or it will be 80-20. And so that changes the calculus a lot. If all of a sudden, in the county level, it's 80% more expensive to pave a mile of road, and in the city, it's 50% more expensive. So that is a way that we are able to do it. If you think about that, even if we could pay for double, but we could only go half as far. So that's really a very instrumental and very important and impactful project. So hopefully we'll continue to see the gas tax funding that program. I know it's in there's new General Assembly legislation that does include conversations about wheel tax and mandates of wheel tax, which is a part of the whole conversation surrounding, the tax bills.
Right.
There was a lot of, we've talked about it on this very program before. The meaningful historic property tax relief component comes with the requirements that you have taxes in other places to replace that revenue. And the wheel tax and gas tax and cigarette tax and income tax are all a part of that. And so that's where that whole conversation, I think, probably needed to be expounded upon some more. And I was in a meeting yesterday up north that we talked about that pretty extensively. So just a part of the big picture going forward, and a lot of changes coming.
There's not really, on the state level, anything definitive, though, right, as far as those taxes? We know at some point they're going to be impacted, but I don't know that numbers have been released.
Yeah, that's the other thing, too, is there's the wheel tax component as it relates to CCMG funding in direct relation to dollars returning to our community that are already paid in. There's requirements for that. They haven't exactly given out the projections for what that looks like yet. The local option income tax restructure is in state law. That was a part of the SB1. The whole same property tax bill had an income tax component. That's effective 2028. Now, there's a lot of discussion about changing that next session because they didn't get it right. And so, yes, that's still out there. And then, of course, the cigarette tax, that's a done deal. That is going up July 1st. And that's to make up for some of the lost revenue.
All right. Also talked a little bit about CIT at Board of Works.
We did. So Mike Eggleston came and talked about, they've had 67 calls for services. They've hired their licensed social worker, and they've got 2 field officers in place. And we have gotten our MOU, our Memorandum of Understanding, done between the city and the county. So we are, partners in that organization, again, like we have been in partners in dispatch and IT and animal control. And so now we are partners in our CIT program as well. And they've been making a lot of really great progress. They do have a community night out coming up May 29th at 7 p.m. at the junior high. So you may want to put that on your calendar if that's something you're interested in, learning more about the program and or services that they offer. So please feel free to come out and join them.
All right. And some discussion about the 911 tower repairs.
Yeah, this has been ongoing for about a year, just in a couple different capacities. And then last month, we had a pretty significant failure of the statewide towers that we use. So there are 2 towers outside of this one. So in theory, we're talking about 3 towers, which this topic never gets brought up, right? And you're like, holy cow. There are 3 of them. One of them is in Letts. The other one is south of Greensburg, and that's the Greensburg Tower. And these are used to communicate on our dispatch and emergency radio services, but it is also a part of the statewide network. So those towers are under the jurisdiction of the statewide network. They are not under the jurisdiction of local units of government. We, being local, it's actually owned by Decatur County. The one that's on the old jail lot there across from the police department is owned and under the jurisdictional control of local units of government. So that tower, first project was it needs a new lighting system. The lights in it are failed or are failing. It's, I think, from the mid 90s is what we found. So it's time to update that and replace that. So that's about a $20,000 project. We have to do that per FAA requirements and regulations. So the 911 board is covering the expenses for that one. And then while we're working on it, and as a part of the recent failures of the other system, and this was discovered or was used and talked about during the eclipse or like Far Fall Festival, where we kind of want a different set of radios that we can use for sort of large scale events and hyper local level type items. So if everybody on the public safety network downtown for the Fall Festival, they're not utilizing the big system that then maybe is interfering with police activity that's happening or fire activity that's happening off of the festival grounds. So then it also adds a backup level. It's a different system. It works with all of our current radios and technology. So we're adding that, and then we're adding another version to the tower while we're all doing it. And Leanne, who's the director of 911, came forward and said, look, we can do all of this at the same time. It's about a total of a $70,000 project, including the lighting. So it's about another $50,000 to add these 2 different radio systems, gives us backup, gives us low band, gives us different frequencies, really expands upon our public safety network that we have. So the Board of Works did agree to funding half of that. So it's another great partnership with the Decatur County where we're working together to make sure that all of our public safety officials have access to that. It's usable by not only GPD and GFD, but the sheriffs, obviously, but then also volunteer agencies. So we're supporting them at the same time while making sure that we're providing the systems and services that our teams locally need.
And it's a safety factor. I mean,
Sure.
They have to work.
Yes, they do, and their radios are, their biggest tool, or their most frequently used tool, I guess maybe is the better tool or term, and it's a great opportunity to do that.
Very good. Joe Kane was there from the wastewater, and they've got all kinds of stuff going on. All
kinds of stuff. It's just one of those things where we've we constantly work on replacing parts and pieces, and a lot of folks, it's a lot of expense down there to keep it operating. A belt, we had a belt replacement structure that was about $76,000, and this one is 17 years old, so it was definitely up. It's time for an update. Our team's done a great job. Their average lifespan, the sales rep for the company that we're buying these parts through, was amazed that it was that old.
Okay.
Typically, he said their average lifespan's about 8 years, and so you guys have gotten your money.
Very good.
Gotten your money out of this one, which is great. And he had a really fascinating fact that we have this system that dewaters the process, and he said if we had to haul that off, it would be about $6,000 a day.
Really?
Yeah. So if you think about that, it's an expensive system to have, operate, and maintain, but boy, it saves us a lot of money over the year. And then just some random pump work. Again, new pumps run about $30,000 a unit. So for that, we're repairing 2 of those for less than the price of one new one. And he's going to have some vehicles that will be for sealed bids up. We'll probably put them at the old street department on Montford Street over the next few weeks, and then they'll be there for a couple weeks, and you can place a quote on those if you want.
All right, very good. Zach also just providing some updates with projects going on at the city.
Yep, we already talked about Washington
those.
Street,
Yep.
and the East Side Trail Rebecca Park component is well underway. The goal is to get it done before the first concert series of the summer.
It's progressing. It's going quick.
It is, yeah. We're in that stage where it starts to really look starting to look much better.
It's taking its shape.
That's right.
Yes, it is. City Council also met this last week.
Yeah, Allie Beck from Main Street came and gave the annual report, kind of gave everybody an update, what's going on, talked about the businesses, talked about the successes that are happening downtown, and the farmers market starts tomorrow.
Can you believe it already?
It's time.
It is.
So there you go. She did. I want to be sure we mention that, and it is time to get the farmers market back in action. I believe they're going to be there on the south side again. I think they're trying to not impact Franklin Street parking because of the Washington Street project.
Okay.
So I think they're going to try to be condensed again on the south side of the square there, and you should be aware that that's where it's going to be.
All right. And that, again, starts tomorrow.
One other thing that was brought up is Liz Owens came with a Tri-Kappa for the 4th of July parade.
Yes.
And this is incredibly important. It is going to be reversed. So they're going to go north on Broadway, north on Franklin up to Walnut, west on Walnut, and south on Broadway.
Okay, so we're going the opposite.
They're going to go north instead of going south because of the Washington Street project. They're going to go north.
Okay.
So we need to be very aware of that. Tell everybody, tell all your friends.
That will shift everything.
That it will shift everything. And I know you do the broadcast from the porch.
Right.
You might have to find a different porch.
A new spot.
A new porch this year. So that will be a big change, but that was approved. So they're going to go north on Franklin, west on Walnut, south on Broadway.
Okay. So just the opposite.
Yep.
Just the opposite.
Just north.
Clearly. Okay. And so they can... We'll get details as it gets
Yeah,
closer.
you can get details.
There's more details to come.
That was on the agenda, so I wanted to be sure that we did cover that.
That we did not miss that. Ready money. Do we have any updates on the ready money? Has there been any progression?
There has been some, but I'm going to go with no.
Okay.
In that, we're still waiting on some more guidance. There has been some things that have come out over the last literal day, and so we're trying to verify that. We're trying to confirm, that maybe those are the intentions. I was at a mayor's roundtable on Tuesday, and our region is so far ahead of the regions. We're punching, so it makes me so excited. We're punching so far above our weight, it's not even funny. And we've got communities, some of the big ones that people, reference all the time or think are just out, killing it. And when I tell them, like, no, we're beyond 65% on our Ready 1, we're ready for Ready 2, they're still trying to figure out what projects to do with Ready 1 money. And, we're excited to see Ready 2. Ready 2 is on hold. Again, one of those things where the legislative process, the new administrations, the overhaul of IEDC has really slowed this down. There's a lot of private money. There's a lot of public money ready to go to continue having these impactful projects. I know the county's working on the building stuff out at the fairgrounds. That's got Ready 2.0 money in it. I know they've had some conversations about what to do with the pause. Seems like in the last day there has been some positive movement in finding a timeline for that money. But again, we're still waiting on some further confirmation, and we'll see. But the big part that was brought up in our council meeting was we own the building at 112 South Franklin Street. It's been vacant. We've owned it since 2011. It has had nothing in it since then. So we are going to partner with Main Street, and the council voted to gift that to Main Street. Main Street is approaching our region about some dollars to improve that, and then they're going to work on creating a space in downtown that is viable again, which is great. There's been our teams put a lot of focus on South Franklin Street with the sidewalks, and we've got the mural done and getting those buildings refreshed. We've had private partnerships with the building owners, and we're kind of clicking a little bit.
Yeah.
We've got dog-eared pages down there at the bookstore, and so if Main Street can get an investment in that building, make it another viable space that will improve our occupancy rate, it improves our streetscapes, and improves foot traffic. And then Ready 2.0 money, we get our apartment south of the railroad tracks constructed, which was supposed to be starting this summer, but with the holdup in funds, that seems to be
not happening.
I'm not going to go that far yet.
Okay.
I'm a little less optimistic than I was January 1st, but there's still plenty of time. They're ready to go. They're waiting on a couple more approvals as well from the state on something other than Ready. So anyway, lots of good work happening down there for sure.
That's exciting, though, to continue to grow that part of the square, the downtown part of
Yeah.
Greensburg.
And more people, more foot traffic, more dollars, more business, more commerce equals a better, more vibrant, more resilient community.
Very good. Also, I know there's been some discussion. EMA director position is now open. We talked yesterday with Jeremy Pazel about that as well. So you sit on that board, I believe.
I do. So that position's available through the Decatur County government's website. You can go on there. There's a form, I think, you can fill out. That is open. We also have a couple positions on our team open as well. We've got a water and a wastewater position each, and then there's also part-time or full-time custodial position posted as well. So you can take a look at all of those three on our website, and then EMA's over on the county's website.
Very good. Anything else during City Council?
Just getting some final updates for, again, that project downtown. We're doing some alley vacations, no big deal there, and I think that's it mostly. Next week's Heavy Trash Week.
Yes.
It's hard to believe that is here. Seems like we've been talking about it for 3 months. And normal trash day, no large construction debris, no large amounts of cardboard, and it always seems like it rains. So please be slightly attentive to the weather before you start piling up everything. And make sure it's in bags is best. I mean, think about that too. If you've got 4,000, there are 4,000 trash customers in the city. If everybody just threw out one piece, that's a lot of little pieces to pick up. So please put it in as many bags and boxes as you can, and they'll be around. There is no brush or leaf brush limb service next week, so also be cognizant of that. And our teams are getting ready. They've got all the equipment lined up, ready to go.
Geared up.
Ready to go. And we are getting the banners. The veteran banners are going up. Those were delivered yesterday, so our team's trying to get those, as many of those done before next week as possible. And I think some of our other team's going to come sub in for them while they're doing heavy trash.
That's exciting to get the new banners up. And as the other banners come down, those will also be available to pick up at City Hall?
They will be. So starting Tuesday after Memorial Day, they'll be available in City Hall. We'll have Tuesday through Friday. You can come pick those up 8 to noon, 1 to 4. And you come in the front door. They'll be in the multi-purpose room. We'll just ask you to write your name and phone number down in case somebody else comes in looking for that same one. We can tell them who picked it up. There's no real ID check required. We just want families or ones that are connected to someone to get those should they choose. And after Friday, then we'll have to dispose of the rest. We're not able to keep them around forever.
There's only so much storage.
Yes, that's right. And if you would like them, you're more than welcome to come get them. It's first come, first serve. Just come on Tuesday, and we'll have them ready to go in the multi-purpose room there.
And going up with the veteran banners, you said a third of those are actually holiday and different events going on in downtown.
We're going to add, a lot of times when I go to other communities, we see those type items that are advertised. But so if the first set that's going up is for the farmers market, which is great. So those will run up until it's time to put up the ones for the fall festival and then the holiday market after that. And then we've got just a generalized winter one. That January, February, March piece is a little bit odd as there's not a ton going on. You don't want Christmas stuff up, but you don't want them to be bare either. So yeah, we're going to do a rotating basis on a third of them. And we've got a great set of veterans that are being recognized in our new set. And it should be exciting.
Very good. Again, next week is Trash Week. Be respectful. That's a lot of hard work. So just be respectful.
And everybody just have a little bit of patience. It takes us, sometimes we get a little bit behind in keeping up with the routes. So if we're usually there by noon and we're not there by noon, we'll get there. We'll make it. And they've done a lot. We've historically sometimes ran over into the next day, but I think we've gotten better at that with some of the efficiencies we've made, and including help from everyone to put it in bags. That makes it go a lot quicker. And the claw truck helps that as well. So, yep, we'll see. It'll be good next week, too.
All right, very good. Next Thursday, Mayor's Youth Council will be joining us.
Mayor's Youth Council will be here next Thursday. I am not going to be here, so they're going to sub in for me and have a conversation with you about all the great things they're working on and what they're looking like. It's their last day of school, too, so they were excited to come in and spend some time with us.
Very good. Thanks for being here this week, and we'll catch up with you in 2 weeks.
Sounds like a plan. Thanks, everyone.
It's Tree Country, 1330 WTRE.